full day's cricket from Alice Springs here in Traeger Park for the Sheffield Shield final, with the Victorians to resume at 3 for 322. And Chad Sayers is going to take the ball first up this morning. No real surprise from the Gap Road end of the ground. And on strike is the right-hander Cameron White, as Sayers' first ball of the morning to White, turns it down the leg side, and it's gone very fine, racing away for 4. They'll be wide, so 4 breakthroughs, the ball only in its 11th over. White awaits Sayers, he's forward and drives beautifully. Half volley outside the off stump, and that'll race away through the covers, and 4 runs for Cameron White. Strike as Sayers on his way in, pushing across. Quiney, who cuts beautifully through cover point. That'll rocket to the boundary. He picked that up nice and early. Sayers tries again, trying to find his rhythm. Outside the off stump and edge. And Carey diving across to his left, and he gets the breakthrough. So he's bowled a bit of everything, Chad Sayers, but finds the edge of Quiney's bat here and gets the important breakthrough early on the morning of day 2.
Comes in from the gap end, White on strike. Big booming drive and a straight to the man at short cover. That is out. What a fantastic wicket, and well deserved for the Sackers. Cameron White, he absolutely blasted that ball, unfortunately straight to the fielder.
Long day yesterday.
So Warrell Christian, he's forward and he's edging and he's caught. So it's a perfect way to start the new over. And the Redbacks, their fight back continues on the morning of day 2.
Lower and slower.
Warrell again on his way into Pattinson down the leg side, worked away off his hip. Very fine for 4.
Are as well.
Oh, this ball from Sayers traps Pattinson on the pads. A bit of a shout.
Many pushing back in from the Northern City end, gets Gotch driving forward, pushes it out through the vacant cover region. And I think that's head setting off against it. I don't think it'll get there as that ball trickles over the boundary line for a 4. Zampa in short. Gotch cuts away beautifully into the gap. And that'll race away for 4. A lovely shot back. And that's the case with the Aussies. Sayers comes in, Pattinson. Beautiful defensive. Drop back down the wicket, tucks the bat under the arm, says that was in there. Everyone else says, yep, that is indeed. Lunchtime here, day 2 of the Sheffield Shield final for 2016-17 at Traeger Park in Alice Springs. Victoria has moved its score on to 6 for 379 after being 3 for 332 overnight. So a few wickets have fallen this morning. It's certainly the ball did do a lot more this morning as the players walk off. And
he bowls to Pattinson and he flays at the ball outside the off stump, picks the gap through the covers and away for 4. Pattinson into double figures. He moves to 13, 21 for Gotch. And 385 on the board now, 6 down. On the back of the boundary to Pattinson. He's on 13. Around the wicket, short ball, and coaxed into playing the hook shot. Got a top edge over the top of the keeper, and it bounces away for 4.
As he comes into Pattinson, waiting. Big back lift, just flicked off the pads, but that doesn't get past Carey. There's a chance here if he hits, and he's missed. Still running in.
Quicker ball outside off stump, beautifully cut, finds the gap in the field between the man at silly point and the backward point, and that'll be 4.
Coming over the wicket. Pattinson back, paddles it past the man at 45, and that's save your legs materials. That trickles away for 4 runs. Just away. Zampa comes in, and that's a beautiful shot by Pattinson. Rocks on the back foot, punches it through the covers. There's a chase on, but the ball will win. Trickles into the boundary for 4 more.
Coming over the wicket.
Oh.
Almost with immediate effect there. Just looks like an inside edge. And
as head comes in, round the wicket to Pattinson. That one's flat as a big appeal.
Must be close.
Simon Fry says no again, a long way forward.
Sort of just a couple of floating slips here.
That's very close.
As Worrell pings one in on Pattinson. Here he is again. Full edging and in between that floating slip and the keeper. And isn't that always the way in cricket? They split the slips. And
Worrell in the city end. This time it's short, and he runs that beautifully through the slips cordon. Guided away, and that was a well-controlled shot. There was no edge there. Worrell's probably got a bit more venom in this one. And again, that is beautifully played. Pitched up, full, driven wide, behind square, and that is a beautiful shot. Dalton again comes in, the big booming drive to that big gap. There is a man down here, though, on the deep cover boundary, sweeping, keeps it to a single. Pattinson edges to 49, just one shy of his 50. Gotch on 40, and that is going to be T. And day 2 of the Sheffield Shield final here at Traeger Park in Alice Springs on another very hot day.
Where Victoria lost 3 wickets in a hurry. Zampa continues and Pattinson drives. Just wide of many at cover, they'll get 1. And James Pattinson in the process brings up another half century in Sheffield Shield cricket. So he ticks along and moves to 50 on the back of that single. And it's back-to-back 50s at the venue for him after making a half century in his last game here against Western Australia, made 57. Attempting to become the most successful side in the state's history as Pattinson takes the aerial route straight back down the ground, and that's gone a long way, bounces away for 4. Distance in South Australia, 9 down, holding on at the finish to retain or to win the Shield after finishing on top, as Pattinson really just heaves that over mid-wicket and away for 6.
Crash.
Here's Pattinson again, back in the crease. Pull shot, beautiful, backward of square leg and away for 4. Which is sort of short and sharp. They start in October and they get their weekend in February, and that's it, as Pattinson on the back foot cracks his cut shot away for 4. And he's really starting to find his rhythm.
Marsh, absolutely. He's a brilliant batsman. In comes Sayers again. There's an edge, and it's flown through the slips cord, and Sayers looks to the heavens and thinks, what do I have to do to get this wicket? They push for 2. Pattinson says it's coming back for 3. A bit of confusion. They'll settle with 2. And that brings up Gotch's 50. Streaky, probably the only streaky shot really he's played all innings down. It's a great 50. In again. Pattinson waits, and that lifts it at an edge. Yes, it is. A magnificent innings has come to an end. Sayers picks him up, caught behind. Pattinson out for a brilliant knock of 80, and Sayers has picked up his 5th wicket. Finally, the breakthrough for South Australia.
Ended up flowing Victoria's way.
Sayers to Tremaine, edges, and superb take by Carey, diving low down to his right. And he's put on a hell of a show in the Sheffield Shield final. That's his 4th catch.
Swept across.
His many full and struck on the pads, and he's out. Seb Gotch goes for 52. So Manning gets the breakthrough. 9 for 486. The 9th wicket falls, so just the 2 spinners, Ten and Jack, who's at the non-striker's end at the moment. It's Sayers bowls to Holland, who struck on the pad. It balloons up into the gully. Not out, says Simon Fry.
This wicket now.
Sayers on his way in, bowls to Holland, edges, and he's caught. And Carey gets 5 scalps in the Sheffield Shield final. Sayers, importantly, picks up his 7th wicket. A sensational bowling performance, 61 scalps for the year, and 7 for 84 in a Sheffield Shield final.
Great reward for his persistence and his ability, and excellent catching by Alex Carey to get 5 as well, I think.
Certainly going to have to use all those tricks in this period.
Pattinson bowled him! Clean lift! Pattinson goes straight through Dalton.
Fawad Ahmed's on his way in. First ball, pushed on the back foot. He's trapped in front. Whether all the umpire has a long look, says not out. First slip, short leg, and silly point. Ferguson on the back foot. He cuts and finds the gap. Through backward point, and that should go for 4. Skips over the rope, and Callum Ferguson gets a boundary. His short leg, silly point. And the 2 catches behind the wicket, and Ferguson again, he's on the cut. Balloons up over the head of cover point, and that'll go for 4 more. So a couple of boundaries in the over for Callum Ferguson. Ferguson, he awaits Fawad Ahmed on his way in, back in the crease, and safely defends away on the offside. So that's all she wrote for the day 2 here at Traeger Park in Alice Springs. 1 for 19, South Australia, with Ferguson on 12 and Weatherald on 5. Earlier today, 487 posted by the Vicks, 120 to Marcus Harris, 80 to James Pattinson, and 52 to Seb Gotch. Meanwhile, Chad Sayers took 7 for 84, and then 1 each to Worrell, Many and Zampa. 487 posted by Victoria. South Australia had to face a minimum of 11 overs before stumps tonight. They ended up facing 12 as Victoria got through them in quick time. And the Vicks were able to bring about a wicket. 1 for 19 is the score at stumps.